Hey, how's it going? It's me, if you didn't know. It is. So anyway, I'm here to review a very special movie. I'm here to review Spectre. Uh, so really quick, I haven't seen that many Bond movies, to be honest. Uh, some of them are good that I saw, some aren't. I haven't seen any of the older ones, just the more newer ones. And most of them, I'm gonna say, are good. The other ones, not so much. I'm not saying which are good or bad because then I won't be able to make any more reviews and stuff. But anyway, so going into Spectre, I've seen all the Daniel Craig Bonds. Going into Spectre, I wasn't really expecting too much, to be honest. I wanted to see just a bit of entertainment, really. I didn't want anything special. Like, I didn't want the next Skyfall or anything. I just wanted a normal, enjoyable Bond movie. And when I look up on the internet for what people have to say about this movie, the majority of the people say it's a good movie. It's not as good as some other Bond movies, but they enjoyed it and they had fun with it. And I, in my own opinion, completely disagree. I hated this movie. Now, let me tell you a few things I liked first. Best thing about this movie is 100% the opening. The opening in this movie. Now, real quick, this isn't the best opening of any Bond movie, but there are just so many good ones. You can't call this the best. Nevertheless, though, it's a very good Bond opening. There's some great shots in it. One in particular that goes from the beginning. Uh, yeah, and I just really love that scene, which is like maybe 10 minutes. If that was the entire movie, it would totally be worth it. Yeah, well, maybe a bit less of a ticket, but yeah, that part of the movie is great. The Bond song, some people criticize the Bond song, and while it's not as good as Skyfall, I did enjoy the Bond song, and the music, and the sort of visuals they used for it were pretty entertaining, and I did like that. It was a bit goofy, the video, when they showed it in the movie, but I didn't mind because it's very entertaining. The cinematography in the movie, it's pretty good. It's not really something I would call perfect cinematography, but maybe that's because I already saw that in Skyfall, so it's kind of hard to see it as perfect. Um, Also, the premise for this movie is interesting, and if they did it a bit differently, it probably would have been a great Bond movie. And finally, the acting, there's nothing really exceptional about the acting, but it does work for the movie, and none of the acting is bad, so that's good. Now, getting into the bad. Okay, worst thing about this movie is easy. No matter who talks about this movie, whether they like it or hate it, the biggest problem with this movie is 100% the script. And that is a really bad thing for a movie when the script is just terrible. No matter what the quality of the movie is, if the script is terrible, that's definitely a big flaw. And this movie's script is just so bad. The way the script opens with the scene and some of the dialogue, it's pretty good. I liked where it was going at the beginning, but then when it keeps going, it just starts dragging so much. I mean, I wanted to focus on Bond's life, the sort of personal journey he has to go through, but it never feels personal for him. It just feels like another mission, something he does all the time. And seriously, there's nothing special about the way the script goes. And it keeps going back to like MI6 with some sort of new thing going on where it's all modernized, and that was really boring. I didn't care at all about that. I wanted to focus on James Bond because that's the whole point of the Bond movies, to focus on James Bond. But they don't. And a lot of the time they just go back to MI6. I didn't like the way the script went. For instance, Christoph Waltz, now really quickly, Christoph Waltz is a great actor. He's won 2 Oscars before. He's phenomenal, a great actor. He can really play a villain, and when he's a villain, it should be a great villain. It should be. And it's not. And I don't really put the blame on Christoph Waltz because his performance in the movie is pretty good, and he has German accent, and since he is a part Austrian, part German, he does it very well, as he does in other movies that he has a German accent in. But the biggest problem with it is that he's basically in just 3 scenes in the entire movie. 3 scenes. I mean, look, in Skyfall, the bad guy didn't come till like halfway through the movie, but when he was, there was great because he was stealing so many scenes. The script was really giving him a lot to work with, and when he was there, it was just phenomenal the way he was, and his presence was always felt through that movie. That's what I really liked about it. But Christoph Waltz just feels like another Bond villain. Nothing special about him. That's a really disappointing thing because I wanted him to be a great Bond villain because he has the potential for it. And once again, it goes back to the script for that. Also, the Bond girl in this movie, well, to be honest, the Bond girl in this movie, they say that she's apparently Daniel Craig's love interest, that he's going to spend the rest of his life with her. Now, I know we've seen that in some other Bond movies, but at least those Bond girls we actually thought for the movie he was going to love. But here, it never feels like that. I mean, here's a few reasons why. First of all, at the beginning of the movie, he's actually with a woman, which implies that he just does it a lot. Then later he sleeps with Monica Bellucci. Oh, so yeah, that's like, it just doesn't feel like he loves her then. And also, her chemistry with him, it's terrible. You never feel like they're in love with each other. It doesn't work. I mean, seriously, it's all wrong. Not only that, but James Bond is actually good friends, really good friends with her father. That's all I'm going to say about that, but he's friends with her father. Like, really good friends. Like, they're close to the same age, and all of a sudden, she's his love interest? That's kind of creepy. Seriously, I was just really disappointed about that because she's not in until like halfway through the movie, and you never feel like she's his love interest or anything. Just some girl he's gonna sleep with again. It was really disappointing like that. And the action sequences, oh my god. People say the action sequences in this movie are like entertaining. They are not. And here's why. First of all, they're just like really over the top and silly with all those stupid Bond gadgets, all really stupid humor in there that doesn't land. And also, I've seen this before. I mean, I've seen Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I saw Fast and Furious 7. This movie's action sequences, apart from the beginning, were pretty much just a mix of the two. And they never worked. There was any original about these action sequences. And not only that, but the plot as well is a mix of those two movies. I mean, seriously, the whole plot about the place changing and all, about them having to find the bad guy, I've seen this earlier this year in better movies. This movie did it so bad. I was really disappointed with this movie for that. Also, in the other Bond movies, when the torture happens, there's all kinds of realism in them, and the Daniel Craig ones, especially in Casino Royale. When the torture is happening, you really feel like you're getting hurt by this, and you feel James Bond's pain. Here you don't, because the gadgets they use for it are so over the top, you don't believe any of them. Also, this is like the most expensive James Bond movie that Daniel Craig has been in, and there are literally 4 action sequences, maybe 5 in it, including the opening, and they just do not work. There's nothing exciting about these sequences, and they're so far between in one of the longest Bond movies ever, with a terrible script. That is not a good formula. Seriously, though, it's definitely like that. That's what it's like. That's how I felt when I watched this movie. I absolutely hated this movie. Also, last point, Dave Bautista. Now, he showed that he can be pretty good when I saw him last year in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was pretty good there. Here, he literally says one word in the entire movie. If he were played by anybody else, I would not have cared. It would have been normal. I don't care about his character at all. In fact, he never even feels like a character. He just feels like a plot device. That was really disappointing. There's nothing special about him. So yeah, this movie was just so disappointing. This is the most disappointing movie of the year. This is the worst movie I've ever seen in the cinemas. Just so you know, I don't really watch that many movies in the cinemas that are bad, but this one is definitely the worst I've seen in the cinemas. The previous one being Mockingjay Part 1, which actually wasn't too bad. I did enjoy some parts of it. And this movie is just complete garbage, if not for a few small pieces. So what am I going to give this movie? A 2 out of 10. This movie was just so disappointing on so many levels. My advice, do not watch this movie. However, a bunch of people I do know did like this movie, so maybe you will like it. If so, comment and tell me why you think it's so good. But in my opinion, this movie was terrible, and that's all I have to say about it, basically, despite the rest of the stuff I said in this video. So, case in point, this movie sucks. Okay, so that's my video for the review of Spectre. If you were expecting it to be a bit more positive, I apologize about that, but that's just my opinion on this movie. So I'll be having some more reviews up soon, and look out because I will have my movie out, a second movie, sometime this weekend, and then I'll have a review for it, possibly also on the same weekend, so look out for those. So, as always, you don't have to go while you got Timo.